All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pato, and with me tonight is going to be the help.
Large and in charge, baby! It's Judgment Finals time!
Yes, it is, and we have our two top captains. Shorter Ace, a captain coming in later on in the season and climbing those ranks. Also was a stellar player. I believe he was in the top 10 of players for Judgment League overall out of 85 people, which is pretty good. And then we also have Apollo, the giant killer, and actually took down Afromu to win his first week in week 3.
Woo!
And these lineups are actually pretty stacked of players. And right off the bat, Shorter Ace is going to pick up his Lee Sin.
Oh yeah, no, that somehow sneaked through the entire banning system, which has been keep Shorter Ace off of Lee Sin, and now we're going to see it. We're going to see how they're going to respond to Shorter Ace on his boy. I mean, we have every single band out of the entire YouTubeosphere that does League music has talked about how great Lee Sin is.
Yeah, I mean, this is one thing that you usually never give him, but firing right back on the other side, looks like Apollo's going to go straight for the juggler. He's going to pick up Thresh and Elise. Someone that we saw Shorter Ace use to great effectiveness was Elise last night, and then now we have Thresh, someone that you never usually want to give away to your opponents right here.
That's right. Dragon Fist Lee Sin loves playing Lee Sin as well. That's how it made it through. They were hoping that they would grab Thresh and they would be able to get Lee Sin.
Yeah, interesting enough, you know, we kind of zoomed over the bans here, but Vayne was actually a ban, except for the funny part is that in Judgment, Apollo's Vayne is actually really, really bad. I think he's like lost every game he's played Vayne pretty much in this league, which is kind of funny, you know, where his Varus has actually been like his namesake there. He's actually undefeated on Varus. So interesting to see that the Vayne ban comes out. Obviously, Shorter Ace, knowing Apollo since he's been playing on his dream team, knows him pretty well, knows he probably has a stellar Vayne. Maybe those Vayne games were when he was in Korea or something. And
Or
he had
dead.
some bad latency.
He could have been dead.
Could have been.
Could have been dead at the time.
And then right back, there's that #1 big champion in Judgment, Nami. Nami is the most played champion in Judgment League.
I don't know how my mermaid sounds are going, but I think they're pretty good. Pick me.
It's almost like a really high-voiced Wookiee voice you got going
Well,
on.
that's how mermaids would talk. Would be high-pitched Wookiees.
Oh, okay, now I know.
Yeah, no, well, now you have been informed. You barely know. I don't even know why we're still in this game. And on the other side, do my eyes deceive me? Or are we going to see the Twitch and Karma picks coming up? I want to see that lock before I call it hard, but they're talking about it. They're thinking about it. They can smell it.
Yeah, Karma actually is a pretty effective champion overall. I mean, they already have a support out, but I mean, I've seen her in the jungle recently. She can be played in mid. Actually has a lot of burst to her, but yeah, that makes more sense. We're going to have Ahri. That Ahri coming out the gate has been played so much lately and basically all over LCS, and they've just been talking about nonstop today, actually during Super Week, how she's just like this really good high mobility champion that can also all in you really, really quickly, and she's great for getting pickoffs, especially.
I don't know why she fell out of favor suddenly. Have they changed her at all? Like, she's always been a wrecking machine. Like, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just seemed like she fell out of favor for Orianna for a couple of weeks / months / the season 3, and now you just see this huge rise in the Nine-Tailed Death Spree.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it was because most APs that were actually being played mid were a lot of facilitators, like you said, like Orianna, champions like that, or maybe like a Xerath with really long range poke at the time that she fell out of favor. And then the other big problem is there was a huge uptick in AD, like assassins going mid as well.
That's true.
So she kind of just like fell out just because she wasn't the flavor of the month at the time. But then
Yeah,
once
she's not
people
talent.
got back to these really mobile like APs again, you know, the Cassidans of the world, Cassidans making a big huge return, and now Ahri, like everybody really loves to play these champions, and we're seeing them in full force.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they didn't do anything foolish like buff them right before they came back into favor. Like let's get Talon and Zed out of mid and Jace out of mid. Let's buff the high mobility. Oh God, why is this happening? Mid all day.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing about balancing. You know, you always have to be careful that because it's not being played, you need to not buff it too much, otherwise it becomes ridiculous. And that's kind of what we've seen with Nami. Like, Nami was the champion that no one was touching, and they made like 2 patches worth of buffs, and then now she's like played everywhere.
Well, I guess the thing with Nami, or the difference between a thing with Nami and a thing with like Ahri, is Ahri wasn't being played because of loss of flavor. She wasn't being played because she was underpowered. Now Nami might need to get scaled back a bit, but it's a lot easier to go back than it is to keep pushing forward. I mean, Make the bubble don't let the bubble pick you up and you would be fine fighting a Nami. But the fact that the bubble picks you up extends its time so long, it's so long. You could be a ground bubble, it'd be fine. And Hank locking in Wukong. Wukong, who seems to just get trounced in laning phase, is the champion among champions for team fight potential.
Yeah, and the thing is, Hank M basically he got into Judgment on the back of Wukong. Like, he basically played nothing but Wukong ranked, climbed the ladder to Diamond 1, essentially, just on the back of Wukong. So definitely a champion that he loves to pick up here. Actually saw some bans earlier on in the weeks. In Judgment League, he's actually only had about 50-50 success with that champion. So we'll see actually what it is today, but definitely a champion he's comfortable on and can make plays happen. It definitely would have been interesting if they would have actually locked in and kept that Jarvan.
Now, coming down to the moment that everybody is waiting for, all 20 of you that are watching, the moment where the helpful hand decides the victory of Game 1 of a match that guarantees going to 3 games. I can tell you right now, Shorter Ace is not going to be giving up just because he's going to lose the first game. I'm reaching into the deep ether of the universe, and I just see the plays being made off of Red Team over here. Red Team has some serious mobility. They're able to get anywhere they need to be super fast and pick off anybody whatsoever, while Monosphere is going to be able to keep that global presence, and Fat on Kennen, as we saw yesterday, is literally a blender full of ninjas wrapped inside of another ninja covered in a Sharknado. And Nami's going to be able to try and stop some of that front wave. The mobility alone is going to be enough to outplay them. Helpful hand, Red Team.
Well, I have to agree. I think that's probably a pretty good shot for them. Although I know that we've seen Shorter Ace. I mean, Shorter Ace is on his main man Lee Sin, and the team that he has here is a team that worked great for them, and they executed really well. So I have to believe that they're probably feeling pretty good off that, and they're gonna have some success here themselves. But like you said, I think you are correct that the Red Team actually has the tools there on the other side. But I think it's either way, it's gonna be a really good game because I know both teams definitely have comps that they feel comfortable with. And I think any champion that Apollo's on is going to be a scary, scary champion.
Any champion any of these players are on is going to be a scary champion. This is the top of ELO. This is like solo queue maximum here. This is the top of the ARAM trees. There isn't even gold on this level. This is ultimate platinum, triple diamond. This is Kanye West tier.
As we look in here, we actually have a little bit of a tail of the tape for Team Shorter Ace's team, and one of the main players to watch, at least on his team, is going to be Evertan, because Evertan actually is tied for the highest KDA, and he's tied for the top average gold of any player that's coming in here. He averages about 2,000 gold more than any player playing here, including Apollo, who's been in really deep waters in late games and a lot of games, and actually had some really good showings. And on top of that, they're also going to have him supported by Roshan, who has the most assists out of anybody in here, about 48 more assists than anybody else that's in this finals game. Ooh. And you can tell that there's a lot of really good champions. And the other big thing is Monosphere was actually one of the last picks for Shorter Ace, and he has an 85% win rate in Judgment League. He's only played a couple weeks, and based on those couple weeks, he's won and been so successful with his win rate that he's actually jumped in, slipped in under the radar, and now he's just a really big factor for his team. So one of the biggest value picks, I think, of the entire draft coming in.
Absolutely. Monosphere has been a tyrant. Yesterday, we saw him just bully mid lane around. There was no option but to bow before Zod as long as he stayed in that mid lane. Over on the other side, do we have anything for them?
Oh, but of course we do. Why wouldn't we?
There we go. Awesome. Over on the other side, we have Apollo. His sealed a win against Aframu and is undefeated on Varus, as we talked about earlier. Huggy Boy, his 4 wins, 4 Zyras. It's literally a garden full of hugging boys in there. It might as well be Capitol Hill. And now I can't see anything because my graphics card needs an update.
Oh. Well, Dragonfist Lee Sin, to follow us up, he actually has the second most assists of anybody in here. He's only played 3 weeks. Got pulled in as a Victoria player last minute, and there he is. Hank M, a player that's been picked last in a lot of the drafts. I believe first week he was picked last, but he's in the top 15% of overall players for points totally made that he was able to accrue and win. So definitely a player that's kind of underestimated but can come up with big plays. And then PHP Chicken, he's another guy to really watch for on Apollo's team because he actually has the most kills of anybody in this finals matchup at 107.
Whoa. This is out of I mean, I feel like I'm looking at a glass of milk and I'm watching the actual cream rise in real time. That is how I feel when we talk about this game right here. And now that it's all loading up and getting all emotional, I expect the first 3 minutes of this game to either be the most gentile or the most violent of any game we have seen yet. That's including the yesterday 1 minute triple kill.
Yeah, so it looks like we are loading in here. Again, this is going to be a best of 3 tonight. So we will have another game after this no matter what. Both these teams stacked with the best of the best players. I think when I looked at both these players' drafts, I felt like they really were the two teams that were going to probably make it to the finals. The Zik Apollo game went to 3 games, was actually really, really close. And overall, both games had their moments of being, or both matches had their moments of being close. But definitely that one went pretty close. The third game, Apollo definitely just overtook, ran away with it. I think Zik definitely hurting without his Otter captain's pick for this draft because Otter had to play an MCS. Otherwise,
jerk.
he would be the highest kill player in this game with 100 more kills than even PHP Chicken has. I think he had like 200 kills or something in Judgment League just when he played. Yeah, he was godlike.
No, he starts the game godlike. You get bonus gold from killing him. For ending sprees, just killing him. This is going to be a match. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. This is the culmination of a couple of years of Judgment. This is some football.
This is exactly what it is. It's Monday Night Football, but it's on a Wednesday. It's our Super Bowl that we're going to get to kick off here for our first season of Judgment. Because kind of an experiment that Highwind and I had put together here to see, what happens if we took the best players in the Pacific Northwest and BC Canada, threw them in a tournament together, and see what happened. And so far, it's been great results. And we've had even outside players again, like you saw on the graphic, Aframu coming in, and just big plays all around, nonstop highlight reels. So going to be really exciting once we get to put all this content together and kind of showcase the league.
Everybody meeting kind of in the mid. Kind of just, I'm going to bite your face, and then nothing.
Yeah, and definitely something we're seeing here, too, is like you don't want to be the team that runs into the face check in the jungle, and everybody's very, very, very careful at these level 1 stages because you can fall really far behind. In fact, Shorter Ace's game last night, the first game we watched, they caught Satsulo pretty much 3-0, I think.
Yep.
And from there on out, it wasn't even close.
Yep.
They just kind of wore him down.
Yeah, in Italy, a champion that you almost never see was and especially in the hands of here on Monosphere, was able to get 2 kills in that first engagement. Evertan picked up 1 by flashing the wall. It became a bloodbath. 2 lanes had already lost before the game started, but look at what we have here in the warding situation. 2 really aggressive wards down by red for that Lee Sin pick that Elise may be going for as soon as she gets her blue. Something she's completely capable of doing because she's a freaking spider.
It's actually really fun to see the thought process of these players and how much they pay attention to all the little details too, because we saw Shorter Ace's team even actually recognized where the 2 wards are in their jungle, actually pinged them out, and you can see Red Team actually pinging to where they thought Shorter Ace's team was going. They thought there was maybe an invade on red that didn't have wards. They even had Hank actually dip down into the brush to check on if it was going down. So both these teams very heads up, very aware of what's going on the map, and making calls and sharing all the information to their team. And you can see it just in the pings. So really exciting to see here. And there's that 2v1.
This is something we see out of Shorter Ace's team almost every single game. It's just counter to the regular strat. You have Monosphere now running the 1 down bot on Karthus, which is absolutely brilliant. They did it yesterday, except for they had Evertan, or they had Evertan sitting in mid on Tristana to great effect. And with the hard game, the hard laning phase for Wukong, this is going to get brutal.
And right there, that's exactly what you want out of your support. That's why Roshan now is so good. Hank realizes, like, hey, I have a really good trade on Caitlyn. I'm going to walk out of this, and in return just eats the Aqua Prison and a bunch of auto attacks from Roshan now to make sure that trade actually goes back in his 80s favor.
Wasn't Roshan now not Roshan for a while?
Yes.
Did he just evolve? Did he level up and become Roshan?
There's been a lot of evolving with Roshan now.
I feel like Roshan is the worst Pokemon.
Hey, but
ooh, down mid.
Oh,
down
this
mid.
Is
we have Fat
good
get picked. Shorter is coming in here to kind of put some pressure on, kind of get everybody back to normal, saying, hey, I'm Lee Sin. Let's calm down, people.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Short Ace is really good at in Lee Sin. And I mean, in general, Lee Sin gets around the map pretty quickly, makes some plays, but he's always going to be there for his mid in case they do get caught out. Hank taking a lot of damage here. Elise trying to run up here, but I don't think they're even going to have enough if Elise decides to go on. She does have double buff. She will be potent, but Hank's not going to be able to supply any support really there. There's a spider stopping just before the brush. Not going to do anything. She's just going to eat a lot of damage on their way out.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the goal here is. A double kill apparently is what they wanted to give up.
Oh, man. Yeah, they went in not expecting that. It looks like Short Ace is going to go in off the back of that resonating strike. It looks like the Ignite is going to take, but they're going to trade. Fat actually getting off that last auto attack to trade with PHP Chicken in the mid lane. Big trade for him, at least, to able to get the assist actually to Shorter Ace as well. So actually a pretty good spread of gold to him, and Shorter Ace is actually going to be able to push up this turret, deny some experience because Elise had to go back. Normally your jungle can kind of cover for this, get some experience, but instead Shorter Ace is going to pick up and help deny some experience for his mid laner.
I gotta say, this has been getting brutal really quick. Up top, we had that brutal exchange with no kills, but I gotta say, a foolish endeavor coming on to Evertan and the Nami like that, and you saw exactly what happened. Tons of damage, and now you have Hank sitting behind his turret just hoping he doesn't get dove by a crazy Lee Sin, and now Dragon Fist coming back, wants some blood, wants to give up a kill, not really sure.
Oh, he's going all in for that. Knew his damage, and Apollo, that's what you got to expect from him. He's going to know these ADs inside and out, and this is the scariest part of his team. I mean, typically Shorter Ace is really great jungler, great player, but not necessarily going to put the fear of God in you when it comes into the late game. This game, you know Apollo's always going to be the hardest person on his team to deal with, and that's actually really, really scary proposition when you're going into Judgment League.
Well, here we got up top, just the damage going down on the... Oh, and the bubble! That's the bubble! She goes up, she has to come right back down. There's nothing else for her to jump on. A lot of damage going down on this Elise, who has pretty much resigned her life to guarding top at this point.
Yeah, level 4 Elise. Meanwhile, Short Ace has been able to run around the jungle, farm up. He's gone back, he's bought up. Now he's actually going to run back out here. And doing things the way he wants to do. And this top lane just really impressed with how they've been trading. Although the support goes away, and Evertan now in a little bit of trouble. The Aqua Prison lands. Oh man, Roshan now is absolutely clutch on this Nami.
Oh yeah, no, he is a machine. He is a Terminator sent from the future.
Yeah, and they have something really special here. Like overall, their team pretty stacked as far as performance goes. And Fat just wants to go in. He is gonna be charmed.
Gonna get that stun.
Wow. Served up on a platter.
And that's that dangerous, dangerous Kennen stun. In that last little moment there, being able to sit her down, get your teammate in there to just guarantee the kill.
Yeah, I mean, the charm came out, but it was a little bit too late. Kennen was already on top of her. And then, yeah, just basically served up for Short Ace, who's now going to make his rounds top. And, yeah, they better be scared. Hank already beating feet, trying to get out of this one. Headed down, actually jukes back into Roshan now. Oh, wow, if that Aqua Prison head up, he was definitely going to be in trouble. Ooh. Great juke there. Short Ace not going to be able to land that Sonic Wave. Hank M definitely playing that out really, really well.
And that was really good bush juke right there. Staying back, not letting them see exactly where you are, so they have to take that guess. They assumed that he would go straight for the turret, but he was smart enough to keep his head calm and really play the game. But now his lane is pushed exactly where he doesn't want it. It's pushed away from him, and there's nothing he can do really to respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's even a pretty good read as far as just like, even if because typically the other thing he could have done, he could have decoyed while he was in the brush. He would have came out stealth, and he would have. But even if he had done that, Shorter Ace would have read it, would have landed it. Instead, he's not going to be able to do it. It looks like Elite's going to go all in, wrap up this one. Karth is going to keep being punished in bot lane, and that's typically something you will see when you do see the 2v1 Karthus. Yeah, he'll be alive after this, but it's going to be a while before he's going to have a big effect. Still waiting for him to possibly pop that ult when he gets a chance, but for right now, he's going to be rinse repeat killed over and over again. He's going to have to wait for a better chance.
Well, this is the moment where the 2v1 starts to actually break down. They're going to lose this bot turret, which is what you don't want. There isn't enough pressure up top to get it knocked down quick enough. Now they have to do something drastic to kind of get this going. They have to get the strat to work for them now.
Yeah, they've actually called... I mean, Roshan's actually in the bottom jungle, it looks like. If they catch this off, it's going to be actually a little bit dangerous for Caitlyn. Caitlyn has some good ways to get away, but if Wukong really gets on top of her, she's actually going to be in a lot of trouble. Won't be able to really trade that well with him. So going to be interesting to see what happens as we go further with Hank. But Hank might be set to just farm for himself at this point, since he is so down on CS overall. He only has 23 CS, just sitting on his Doran shield and boots, chugging his last health potion right here.
Woof. Half the CS of the rest of his team. Ooh, and there's the exchange coming down.
Yeah, Karthus, meanwhile, I mean, this is exactly what he does. You can kill him over and over again. That's great, but he's going to farm underneath turret like a boss. Like, you're never going to be able to really shut him down and farm. And that's why you see him so much in the 2v1. It's not that he's, like, great at, like, being aggressive against them, but he can just farm underneath his turret like no other champion really can.
And here comes the exchange. Unseen so far. Twitch is going to go stealth mode. Going to get up here on Evertan. And here comes the big maneuver. Going to need a tsunami to get out of this one. But not 6 yet.
Yeah, brutal damage right there. Wasn't able to get out of it. Aqua Prison missed, and really, as soon as that missed, Kalen's life was forfeit. Evertan wasn't going to be able to get out of that. He was in a lot of trouble, and in this case, now they're actually going to get pushed down on this top turret as well. There's the flash after counter flash to dodge that. Huggy not able to land that one, but they got 4 up top. They got the spiders. They got Wukong. Hank going to get that sweet revenge in a really good play call by them. Again, the 2v1, especially when you take down that first turret, it opens up all these kind of rotations. And Karthus is working on bottom turret, but unfortunately Karthus not the best world beater. I mean, he has an army of creeps with him, and he's barely getting to half damage on this turret as we speak right now.
Absolutely, and Fat going to be taken down. The Karthus ultimate will clutch it.
Yeah. Backing up his teammate right there. Looks like Monosphere might be able to take this. No, he's going to be a little bit short. Actually still has a third of the health left on there. And that's the unfortunate part about it. If they can get anybody down there in time, they should be able to stop him. Yeah, he's just going to back off out of this one. Knows the heat's probably coming in for him. Meanwhile, Evertan taking up back that top turret. And mid turret's now going to be the next defense point here for Short Race's team.
To be. You can't, when you start the 2v1, you can't lose the first turret. You got to be able to switch. You have to be able to read. And it's not the same heads-up play we were seeing yesterday with the lane swaps and counter swaps and stuff like that went down in that game. Short Ace's team is going to have to become more aggressive, more heads up, and they're going to have to force their point.
Yeah, I mean, Apollo's actually just made the better play calls as we've gone further along here, and you know, props to his team for making these good rotations, these good calls, and now having the upper hand as we get into the early stages of the game. Now, they're not like worlds ahead. I mean, they've still been able to keep Hank down in CS. So CS, I mean, Short Race's team is doing a great job when it comes to that. I mean, they're pretty much even across the board or ahead in their respective solo lanes. ADs, they're pretty much even except for the fact that they fed 2 kills to Apollo, courtesy of Karthus so far. In this game, but definitely their AoE teamfight is still really strong, and you can definitely, one of the scary parts becomes for Apollo's team is if they really decide to put a lot of pressure on this mid turret now, then they're going to be in the area where they might have a team fight happen, and they're probably not going to like the team fight action at this point in the game.
Ping's going down on Dragon now. Wukong down here as well.
Yeah, they're mounting up the 3-man push while Dragon goes down. This would actually be a really good pickup for them, even if they give up this mid turret, because the main thing is like we were talking about, they don't really want a team fight. Like, they have a pretty decent team for team fighting, but they don't necessarily want to get in a pitched team fight. And if they actually, you know, went there while blue team could contest.
Oh, but it doesn't matter. We got a 5v3.
Yeah, this is gonna. Oh, the Cocoon max range onto Fat. Money right there from Dragon Fist Lee Sin. This is another guy. I mean, this is like the team of last picks because people don't know who they are. The undervalued players. Hank M, you know, sustaining through that pressure up top. His team came through for him. And Dragon Fist Lee Sin making some plays on Elise right there. That Cocoon was money. Even though they're not able to wrap up Fat, definitely shut him down in what he wanted to do. And if she can land more of those and her team can follow up, going to be great things going forward for Apollo's team.
And that is a tower exchange and a kill on Karthus. Trying to fight back on these objectives, only 1,000 behind, having lost that dragon. That's about exactly where they should be. 3 kills to 6. They are sitting behind on those. If they start catching up on the kills, shutting some people down, they'll make that gold difference up really quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean, still a very close game. Just more map control going to be available for Apollo's team. And the main thing that's really scary about Apollo's team is they have a lot of really great pick champions. I mean, they have the Hook from Thresh. They have Wukong, who can get on people real quick. But then they also have the Ahri, the Elise. Champions are really, really good at singling out people, taking them down really, really quickly, and picking teams apart. So that's the one thing that we're gonna have to see Short Ace's team really set up for, is just get tons of wards up so they don't have those picks happen and keep everybody in line and in position. Because if the picks start to happen, then the rest of this is going to really start to snowball really, really hard for Apollo's team. They have to be very, very careful.
Speaking of wards, though, we have Thresh, who's been an absolute baller when it comes to relevant warding. He's been warding exactly where his team has been needing him when they're fighting, and has been able to get the vision, especially with his pink ward, vision control, around the immediate area. Not so much the entire map, but that immediate area is completely clear for his team.
Yeah, I mean, getting down those pink wards is very, very key. And it's something we've seen a lot of the top competitive teams start to rotate towards is just lots of pink wards everywhere. Spend that extra gold. Make sure that that bush is yours and you're not sharing vision with the enemy team at the worst. But you can see Shorter Ace to set up all this vision down in red side, and Elise actually might find herself in a little bit of trouble if she decides to really force this red buff right now. It could be a dangerous situation for him, and we're just seeing that Shorter Ace's team just trying to go in there, make sure it's secure, and get it for themselves. Looks like Fat going to get on the backside, going to come in here, get the stun off, but she's going to repel
Fat
into
getting
the
a
air.
little too aggressive.
Ooh, Karth Assault coming in there. The Sonic Wave didn't land, didn't come down their pellet in time. They stuff Shorter Ace, blow him up right away. That's the power of that all-in Ahri, and now they're going to run down the rest of the team. Use Spirit Rush used again. Fat very, very low. PHP Chicken waiting for his moment to get in when he can. Karth is going to be taken down. Alt already gone, so not a threat right there. Huggy needs to be careful. Ace in the hole, gonna pick him off to the back of the head. No room for cowards here.
That was an unnecessary engagement completely. That engagement was unneeded, unwanted, and has turned out to be absolutely foolish on their end.
Oh, wow. Big trade right there. Clutch Charm actually coming in right there from Chicken, but able to be capitalized back on. And it looks like Hane's going to come right back in there. Stuff Roshan now for getting curious. Taking down that mermaid, and Elise coming around the backside. Fat, better be careful. They are very, very low here, but they do have a huge amount of burst damage between those two champions. But they're going to back off, take their victory in trade right there. And, you know, again, good trade for Apollo.
Very good trade for Apollo. A fight that didn't need to happen at all. Although Shorter Ace got a little bit too dedicated there at the wrong moment after his team was in a poor position, after the enemy team had already shown up. And they paid the price.
Yeah, and overall just great. I mean, and even though it was great trade for Apollo, I have to hand it to Shorter Ace's team for finding trades in there, because there were a few times where it's like they could have just been picked off and dead right away, but they were able to put out that last little bit of damage and trade, which tells you how close they are to maybe making something happen here. And that's the scary part, at least for Apollo's team. Things are going well, but if Shorter Ace's team ever really pulls it together in one master stroke, they could be the ones really heavily punishing Apollo's team.
Absolutely. Look at Monosphere. He turned, when he saw that he was going to die, he turned right around, ran into the heart of the fray, and, I mean, standing on Karthus when he's dead. Rule number 1, don't do, except for chasing Singed. So I guess it's rule number 2. And he was able to really just he was able to make himself relevant again.
Oh, it looks like happy birthday to Nami's going to pick up these wards right before they fade. Actually, she's just going to get one and back her way out as a lot of the heat's coming in here for Roshan now. Got to be careful here. Dragon to be responding here pretty quickly, so you have to believe that they're going to be mounting up again. Yeah, Lee's coming down back around the backside. Looks like Apollo's going to blue pill back out top. Maybe? No. It looks like he's hanging. They're leaving him up top to hang out there. Hank actually farming up the top lane. So really they actually don't have a lot of pressure around here. They're just kind of looking for picks, but they can see Huggy over the wall with that ward. He's going to shield himself up and get out at this point. And wow.
So many things just happened. Nami, how are you still alive? Just immediately melted. I don't actually know everything that hit Nami there. I just know that none of it was the charm, because that hit Lee Sin afterwards.
Oh, it's the fact that Foxfire comes all off on one target. The orb reception comes there, but it's also the DFG, and that's the scary part about Ahri's right now is they get that DFG, and you can see right there that all-in burst up damage. I mean, Roshan's very lucky he's alive. I mean, that was really close, 100 to 0 right there.
Yeah, I don't know if Flay did some extra damage there or what, but that was frightening. I've never seen so much life disappear so quickly.
Yeah, and that's the scary part. That's why she's been playing a lot more. And the scary part too is that she used Spirit Rush, so she has 2 more, dashes to get out of there. And so the next thing you know, like all your life's gone, and you're sitting there with a void of life and Ahri running away.
I'm all of vapors right now.
All right. Here we go. This is going to be the proof of concept, as you like to say it right here. To see if they can get on this team fight. Oh, Evertan pulled in the middle. Oh my, I can't believe he's alive. Evertan out the backside. Fat gets a good stun off for his team. Now they're backing off to try to help him out. Shorter Ace going to be taken down due to that awesome damage coming in from Apollo. That spray and pray from long range, poking him out, and a lot of zoning out from both teams. The Karthus all going to come in. The charge is going to land. The repel going to be able to save. Actually hops over the wall. Dragon Fist, he said, making plays, but he's going to be taken down on the backside. Nicely done, but Monosphere pick up another one. Hank and Apollo have to run for their lives now. Fat trying to run him down, wants another steal. Poison going to land here. They don't want to get those expunge stacks on there. Could turn on them, but they're just going to keep them running. So good trade there overall, 3 for 2. And I can't believe Evertan made it out initially out of that damage.
Really?
He even had a life.
That was the MVP. Best play of Judgment has to be right there. Evertan eking his life out from that initial engagement where he got straight up thresh caught and should have been dead. Karthus body blocking him and just allowing his teammate to get out of there. I gotta say, those two should definitely have some bromance after this.
That could be the new team synergy stat right there.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, Monosphere and Evertan, two players that actually do play pretty well together, and actually pretty well known. Shorter Ace actually had a week where he basically picked a team where 4 of the other players were actually mid players, and I believe those two were on the same team. In that team, and they actually ended up going 2-1, even though they're basically all mid players, just playing all the roles they could. But fun match for them.
I played many a Judgment. Most of those were on teams that did not have standard composition.
Huggy 804 with that Oracle's now clearing out that vision, getting set up here. Short Ace
do not do it. I know that the law of Lee Sin does say if you land Q, you must press Q, but it is a mistake. It's a trap.
Yeah, and the scary part here, too, is that Shorter Ace is definitely someone that knows the pitfalls of Lee Sin, and Lee Sin, while a great champion, they're kind of getting, they're starting to get out of the wheelhouse of where Lee Sin, I mean, Lee Sin didn't really tear away and, dominate the map here. He didn't actually have a ton of presence, and he's kind of been in these fights, but he's mainly been like a tank that just gets blown up in the beginning of every team fight so far, and a lot of these, and really hasn't had a huge presence for them.
Honestly, that's what they need most for their team. They need somebody to eat that soak. I mean, look what he built. He started off with the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. He's getting that health. He's stacking it deep, and he knows that his job is going to be to soak damage from the burst, and then allow his team that's going to be pumping out way more damage than him late game, which is apparently where they're headed today, to do work.
Yeah, a lot of good items kind of being built up by both teams. We can see that Apollo's team just kind of getting to those first big waves of items a little bit quicker so far. Making some concessions, obviously, along the way, but definitely getting there. And we know that Kennen, I mean, the real key for Fat is going to be is when can he get to that hourglass, because that's going to protect him, make his initiates a lot stronger for his team. And the quicker he can get to that, the more effective they're going to have these mid-game team fights. But the thing is, he has to get to pretty quick here now, because if it starts to get into the late game, Kennen kind of falls off there. So they want him to get to that item when he's in his prime.
Absolutely. Here we go. We got teams mounting up. What are we going to see?
Yeah, this is one of those. This is the vision war right here. It's like, where, they actually have the pink ward. It has enough range to see this ward. They're gonna take it out. Pretty smart ward right there as they're pushing on. And both teams just kind of, they don't want to face check Brush. They don't want to give up that initiative advantage, and so both teams are going to play it out very, very cautious and careful here. Might just push in with the wave, but this vision battle you can see is actually just the paramount part of this game right now.
I like the split. Okay, guys, let's split the golems. You can have the kids this weekend. And now here comes the dispersal. You have Ari running top. She's going to get spotted out there. They know there's only 4 left. What are they going to do about it?
Yeah, well, there's not a lot they can do about it unless they have something in front of them to engage on. And right now, the line they have to cross in vision is owned by Apollo's team right now, so they actually have the advantage. It looks like Ari's going to sneak back down here. They see her rotating down. Karthus still out of the fight, but he does actually have a teleport, and he does have his ult, of course, to contribute to the team fight. So if they really get very aggressive on this turret, that wouldn't be the correct thing for him. Again, they're going to be one of those teams that wants to look for pickoffs. Ace in the hole, nicely used there to put a little bit of damage on PHP Chicken. Maybe they'll be able to catch him when he does decide to make his move, but still a very scary champion now. And now they're going to start to work their way in. We see Twitch going to be very, very cautious here. Doesn't want to get hit by that Aqua Prison on his heels. And yeah, we see Karthus actually pushing all the lanes. So the smart thing here that we see here from Monosphere is he started mid lane pushing for his team. Now he's gone top lane and pushing the farthest lane. So when they do decide to make a move, he can still teleport in, he can still do all those things, but he can get a great push off, and they're going to have to send someone really far to try to respond to this. And right now they're kind of stalled out in front of this tier 2 turret in bot lane.
Absolutely. I mean, the clearing power on both teams is just phenomenal. It's going to come down to who wants to play with these hooks and kisses, and they're going to bait out the Tsunami.
Wow, that was actually really huge because, I mean, they use 2 snares, but it's not an ultimate. And one of the best disengage tools and stall tools that they have in case there was a dive is that Nami ult, but they're still stalled out here. They still really haven't made a decision to pull the trigger. Now, again, Karthus, not the best because look at that burst onto Evertan. Puts him to half health, still goes in. Can it get a counter here with the ult? And Wukong getting deep into the enemy lines here. Back off Evertan, able to get that distance, and now it's going to be Monosphere teleporting in, trying to deal with Apollo, and this is not going to work out for Karthus. He's going to have to land the Skittles. He's not going to be able to get it. Apollo's going to get out of there. The ult's going to come in from Karthus. It shouldn't pick up anybody, I believe. Yes, Apollo's going to be able to live through that. Beautifully done. Able to force the hand of the enemy team. Should be able to pick up this tier 2 turret finally. Hard to get that out. So many T's. So many T's.
He has the attack speed of 1,000 gods right now. He can shoot anything he wants. That fight was excellent. Kinnan getting right in the heart of the storm, busting that ultimate, did so much damage, was able to keep them alive for so long, and honestly it came down to Karthus just not being there quick enough, because teleport takes time to cast. You have problems with T's? Apparently T's are my problem today. Can't handle them. I need a glass of iced tea.
Yeah, I have to give a lot of credit, though, too, to Hank for zoning out the AD carry, Evertan and Roshan, and being able to help facilitate some kills there. Combined with Dragon Fist, Lee Sin diving in the back lanes, they were able to finally take down Evertan, keep Caitlyn out of the fight, who was really the only person that was going to be able to go down there and finally shut down Apollo on Twitch. And because of that great initiate and the Cyclone right there coming in, able to do work for his team. So really, really good team fight execution, dive execution. They got the objective they wanted. I mean, Karthus, again, not a really scary split pusher, so they weren't really too worried about the top turret, but they finally made something happen. PHP Chicken kind of actually sacrificing the body there, just initiating off and throwing out all that burst damage initially. And yeah, look at all that armor shred out of Hank M.
All they want is to take it from you.
Yeah, and this is the exact part where Apollo gets really, really scary. When he hits that third item, Last Whisper, that spray and pray, gonna melt the team if they stand in front of it. And so far, they haven't been able to really get to him. They had Karthus and Lee Sin on him last time, but Lee Sin went down right away, had so much poison and damage stacked on top of him. And then Karthus, by the time he was in there, was just a little bit too little too late, was able to get ring around the rosied by Twitch as he sat there trying to deal out enough damage desperately.
Oop. And here, this is, oh no!
Oh, he knew it was going to happen, too. He knew, tried to ward jump back out, but pick off there, and that's exactly what this team
I'd like to give a special shout-out to Joseph Highwind. I hope you're watching this game. Ain't no curse, bro. I'm sorry. The tools are there. I'm dealing with professional carpenters here, working with, this ain't DeWalt. These are some straight-up, like, husky craftsman stuff coming straight out of, like, magical magazines and made out of unicorn tusk.
And so this is going to be the interesting part of the game. Oh, wow, they're going to go for another pick here. Roshan dead to rights. And we're going to see Lee Sin come back up here very shortly. But, oh, it looks like Dragon Fist Lee Sin on the back of him already, diving in there, putting some pressure on. Doesn't want to push too hard. Evertan actually running up through the enemy jungle around to this bottom lane. Red team already pinging for it. They don't want too much pressure here onto these lanes, so they're just going to back off here. But they were able to get 2 pickoffs right there. And this team is just custom tailored to go in there and just blow people up like that. And so far, they've been successful.
I mean, it's like they have an entire team of Namis. You're going to get kissed. You're going to get hooked. You're going to get monkey-fisted. You're going to get cocooned. Like, there's nothing good that can happen for you if you get caught by this team. You can't fight them in the hidden jungles of Catan. You have to keep it to the streets.
Yeah, really, I mean, again, it all started off with a shorter ace pick, too, and you knew he knew that they were there. Like, you saw him, like, juke a little before he was to the brush. He knew what was up there, and so unfortunately just too much CC. Even Lee Sin couldn't get out of it. And at that point, they really just need to get those wards up really quickly while they can. Otherwise, I mean, they keep getting it denied though by Huggy. But I mean, so props to them. But this vision game is just not in their favor.
I have to say, it must have been some kind of like honor suicide or something like that. There was no reason for that.
So many wards over that wall there. They just get a happy birthday, can pick up 2 wards, goes in, checks really quick, sees the 3rd ward, doesn't want to actually sit there and possibly get picked off though. Definitely knows that, again, that catch potential is really, really big there. The good news too though about these new oracles is you actually don't lose them when you die now.
That's nice. Wait, happy birthday because they blow out the candles?
Sure.
Oh, I just like that. I like the idea of knocking down a bunch of wards and going, happy birthday. I'm a support player, so I get to do it a lot.
Well,
My least
go.
favorite thing as a support, though, is when I spend all that money on oracles. Oh, and the ward coming right over where they didn't expect it to. When I spend all that money on oracles and pink wards, and somebody else knocks down my ward. Like, that is mine by right.
Yeah, again, that's the number one spot just to kind of hide against teams, and teams don't want to get caught there. Nice Aqua Prison over on that spot, although Baron is happening right now. But because of the vision, they don't know if there's a bunch of people waiting around that corner in the dark, or if they're doing Baron. And surprise, Baron has been taken. They weren't able to do it, and that's just pure vision control and positioning right there. Beautifully played by Apollo's team, and now they actually have the tools to come in here and start to wage war on these turrets and start to make some pressure towards the inhibitor.
I feel like I'm watching like the German infantry circa 1943 just march on a bunch of Ethiopian peasants at this point. They just keep getting bigger and more scary guns, and the other team just like tries to fight them off and just like walks into bushes and gets knocked down. There's nothing they can do. It's tanks and spears, tanks and spears.
Yeah, it looks like they might decide to finally back off here. They're pretty spread out. Huggy gonna keep his ward campaign up here. Gonna back off. They have this Baron buff. So now it's kind of the decision too, where the team either has to back off and all go by and then mount up somewhere. Right now, it looks like what they're going to try to do right now is spread out to the different lanes, get them pushing in their favor, and then maybe go back or pick a lane to go for it at that case. Yeah. And that's what you want to do at this stage.
The average champion sitting on Apollo's team is running at about 1,000 gold in their pocket. On the other side, you have about 600. Both teams could go back and get a part of an item, but it's not really worth it to fully sacrifice the lane presence at this point. Getting the lanes pushing, much more valuable.
Yeah, and they have done that. They've gone back. They've bought up. Apollo coming back out with the trusty new BF sword. Also has some magic resist built into there as well. I realize that's going to be an issue going forward, especially with a Karthus and a Kennen on the field. So definitely something he's looking forward to, and just actually really he's looking forward to staying out of trouble, melting everybody. But in case something does happen to nick him, he'll have a little bit of protection there. But he has a great team backing up. This is one of those teams too where it's you want to get aggressive. I mean, Karthus is built to go in and die on their team, hopefully. But it's almost like protection by aggression. There's so much going to be flying at Shorter Ace's team that they're going to be kind of peeling and falling back themselves. That Twitch is kind of be a casualty in the fact that he's just going to be able to go in there and pick you off, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, no, their front line is absolutely beastly. And it's going to completely keep them protected. The ping's going down, pointing out where everybody is. This vision fight is not over by a long shot.
Rotating down, Roshan now actually just getting some quick wards up top lane, getting him back down into his team. Hopefully mount up here, but again, taking over this bottom jungle. They haven't done too much craziness so far. The spider stops just short, and the dive comes in there onto Fat, trying to get him to flinch and force maybe an ult out of him. Nice little move there by Dragon Fist Lee Sin. Just kind of put that pressure on there, and better play by Fat to not give in.
And the ward fight continues. I feel like the map just belongs to Red Team right now. Apollo is the sun god, and all light will belong to him.
Yeah, that's basically what it is right now. They're not in position to deal with this. Actually, Roshan now, Elise actually might be in a little bit of trouble here down in this bot lane, actually getting pincered a little bit. But actually, really, it's Roshan now who's in trouble. And the flash over the wall, and he just leaves. Trollolol's on his way out there. He has Bear, but he's like, I'll be fine. I sent him back to base. But it was a cute move. Cute move.
It was absolutely adorable.
And this lower pressure just constantly coming in here,
Yep.
and just waiting for the time for Apollo to come in here and finish off this turret, which looks like they're going to be able to do. And now just keep waging war, and they need to get objectives, need to make this Baron buff worth it at this point. It's almost over for them. They only have a couple more seconds on it left, so they're trying to make plays happen. They have this bottom turret coming in here now as well, getting some clear on. They have a decent wave here. So the question is, will they be able to actually go in here and make something happen, or is it just going to fall off and they're going to have to back off?
I'm waiting for Thresh to reach over the wall, honestly. I'm waiting for the reach. The cleanse popping off really quick there. Wait, was that a cleanse? I couldn't tell. No, that wasn't. Never mind. There is no cleanse. I thought that cocoon had hit. I was convinced of it.
I mean, we saw a really good dive last game, or last time they're actually on this bottom turret. But the one thing this team desperately wants a pick off before they try to make a move, because they know that.
Oh, here's the chance. Here's the chance. They can get anyone they want.
Oh, Short Race made it this time. Oh, the Aqua Prison on the way back. Oh, they just need Kennen in there. And there he is, Fat on command. Going to get a stun off. They're trying to get out of this. They're beautifully doing this. They put it into a cone, and Apollo's tearing them apart. They're in all sorts of trouble. Apollo flashes over the wall. He wants to do more. He's actually trying to duel Everton, but he gets picked up by the Aqua Prison. He gets shut down. They both trade. The Cocoon's just barely going to miss. And now it's only 3 up, and they're very, very low health, but a big win actually by Apollo in a time where they actually could have been picked up.
And absolutely, I thought they were going to, but that Twitch was able to just move into position around the backside and is putting out so much damage, it has so much lifesteal that he was able to sustain through most of the shenanigans that were going on.
Yeah, and the scary part right here, too, is the Dragonfist Lee Sin, Hankim, their champions that actually can put a lot of hurt onto this turret really, really quickly. And Roshan now is only going to be able to stall him with an Aqua Prison. And then after that's down, they're going to be in a lot of trouble here. And they should be able to take down this turret before there's any response. Still have 1-2 seconds left on Fat as well. So they're going to be able to take off that turret. And that is, I mean, that's the dam breaking right there for Shorter Ace's team.
Absolutely, and now the floodgates are going to be pouring into their own base. Somebody has to go top and clean, but they have Apollo coming up in like 10 seconds, or 1 second, now seconds. Now they're going to be able to go back and spin the gold off of this huge push, this huge fight. So many assists coming out, so many kills, and they're going to be able to do whatever they want. They have the Naked Inhibitor now. They have a specific area on the map which they can dominate without the assistance of a tower to help the losing team. This is a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, Apollo, I think that, I mean, if he didn't flash over there, get super aggressive, probably would have still been able to do great things for his team. But the fact that he was able to take down Evertan and trade and leave it just Roshan now meant that there's absolutely no possible way they could contest the turret bottom. And overall, that's his first death, but he goes back, he buys himself an Infinity Edge, and now it's just that much more scarier for his team. And if a fight happens like that again, I mean, great initiation, but if they're not getting onto Twitch, it's a failed initiation.
Absolutely. They have to get that deep. And with him not being there, any kind of initiation without you having actual visual contact with the fact that your ultimates are landing on Twitch is a failed initiation. And that's a dead Roshan.
And yeah.
That Roshan died before the orb could come back.
Real talk. And they're going to try to probably contest this here. I mean, they haven't lost an inhibitor, but they're going to be running in again into trouble. And the decoy right away, that gets jukes him. It gets back into the enemy lines. Hank trying to get his way. He's going to be able to be torn down, but Dragonfist isn't just diving in there, doesn't even care. Doing work here. The Hourglass coming on the background. And meanwhile, they actually have Apollo out of this fight. That's the only reason this fight is even close at this point.
Oh!
The Ignite takes him down before the ace in the hole. Oh, man.
And that was a beautiful moment in League of Legends history. You have Ahri running away, and that Ignite ticks just that last time. And Shorter Ace now fighting Huggy. And, I mean, this is a support standing his ground.
Yeah, the power of Thresh right there in its worst of forms. And Apollo's going to be like, Roshan, just get out of my face. Get out of my face, buddy.
Sitting on 79? Is that 79 stacks on Thresh? Yeah, 79 stacks on Thresh. Getting big.
Yeah, scary, scary support right there. Able to actually, put the killing hook in the back of Fat's head, and then able to duel Shorter Ace's Lee Sin. I mean, get out. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Woo.
But again, kind of desperation time for Shorter Ace's team. They've been on the clock for quite a while here. Now they have their bottom inhibitor down, which is the the worst one of any one that they could have down right now, especially because of the pressure it's going to put on the opposite of Baron. And I mean, one more Baron, and the next thing you know, it's going to be easy push win here. So there's going to be kind of this interesting balance where they can actually, the good news for them is they actually can split off Karthus, but it looks like they're actually just going to go for this Baron, and it's not going down fast enough. It's not going down fast enough.
This is not the ward you're looking for. Get out, back out, back out, back out, abort.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be death throws right here very, very shortly. Hank just waiting for the flash. There it is. Cyclone coming over the wall. Elite's going to jump in as well. The rest of this coming in here. PHP Chicken in. He's out. He comes in there just to finish off his buddy, Shorter Ace. Going to take him down. Misses the cocoon on the Fat. Nice dodge there to get out, but that's the best case. That's the best case they have right there, is Fat running for his life. Roshan now, this is not the turn you want. 8th level going to come through. Apollo doesn't even care. They're going to be able to clamp this Baron and push for the jugular here very shortly.
And that was just absolute power there. I mean, they didn't really have a choice. They needed to make some kind of move. But at the time when you realize Baron's just not dying as quickly as you need to respond to the situation you're in, you have to get out of there. It's situational awareness that is the difference between great League of Legends players and a loss.
And that's one of the scary things too, is when you decide to make that call, it's you just kind of look at Baron, and if it's not going down fast enough, you just need to call it off. Because I mean, you can see right there, right away, it was easy to tell that the Baron was not going down fast enough, and they had no chance of taking it down before there was going to be a response right there. And of course, they had the perfect response. Hank had flash. The team got into the back of the enemy lines. It was just an easy wrap-up for them. Now they're going to lose their inhibitors. They come back out here trying to make a defense, but I don't think they can actually do this one here at all. They do have Karthus ult that just came back up, so they have one last fight in them, but really I don't think it's enough at this point. Shorter is casually losing half his life.
Casually. Did you see the moves to keep the spear coming through Karthus? The spear jukes right through his heart, and as it's about to miss him completely, the ultimate repositions him so that he's able to pick up the kill.
Oh man, Evertan just deleted right there by Apollo. Gonna come in here, finish off the rest of it. Triple kill for him. Easy pickup. They're gonna close out game 1 of this best of 3 for the League of Legends Season 1 Finals. And I hope Shorter Ace has something coming back on the backside of this, because this is a beautiful game from Team Apollo.
And as I promised, Shorter Ace wants to go to PAX. He's not going to give up just because he loses one game.
So there you have it, game 1. I'm sure they actually have the lobby up already, so we'll be joining that, and we'll be bringing you game 2 here shortly.
I need to get something to drink. I will be returning in just a moment.
You do that. And if you're viewing, go get yourself some glass of water, maybe some snacks.